have come to the last session of today's sessions, which is under the title Central and North Arabia, وسط الجزيرة العربية وشمالها. We will be having three speakers, Dr. Lamia Al-Khalidi, Al-Khouri, sorry, Dr. Lamia Al-Khouri, Dr. Umar Al-Ghoul, and Dr. Muhammad Ababna. The first speaker for today is Dr. Lamia Al-Khouri. She holds a PhD in Greek and Roman archaeology from Germany, 2001. She's also a full professor at the Faculty of Archaeology and Anthropology at Yarmouk University in Jordan, where she holds several positions there as a head of department, as a dean, and as a curator of Museum for the Jordanian Heritage. Dr. Lamia presentation will be about animal depictions in the Nabatean arts, تصوير الحيوانات في الفن النبطي. So Dr. Lamia, the floor is yours, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Many thanks for the organizers of the symposium. And I'm really glad to be here with you and to present my lecture. It is about the animal depictions in the Nabatean arts. So this paper will focus on studying a group of archaeological remains with various functions that depict animal figures, which can help clarifying many aspects of the Nabatean art and its external influences, as well as illuminate Nabatean beliefs related to animals and their symbolic meanings. So the Nabatean settlements along the trade routes, the ancient trade routes, influenced greatly by other cultures. And their profession as traders serving a link between Eastern and Western civilizations. These influences are evident in their various arts, so mainly in their architecture, in their sculptural art, painted pottery, even coins, terracotta figurines, inscriptions, and others. Many of these exhibit influences, especially from Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Mesopotamian cultures, with which the Nabateans had trade relations. These artifacts, the artifacts I will talk about, include different animals, eagles, lions, elephants, camels, snakes, horses, and other animals. So first of all, I'll talk about eagles. Well, actually, the lecture by Dr. Laith about the eagles in Hatra was really great to see the similarities between the Nabatean eagle and the Hatrian eagle. So eagles feature prominently in the Nabatean arts, either in Petra or also in Mada'an Salih or Higra, and also in other Nabatean sites where archaeological activities took place. Well, the most prominent is, this one here, the eagle presented on the most famous rock-cut facade of the treasury, Khazne, And we see the eagles on the corners of the pediment above or on the top of the facade. There's also we see the eagle in other facades, especially at Mada'an Saleh or Higra. So in the middle of the facade, on top of the entrances, a lot of eagles, and each eagle was sculpted in a different way. So either spreading the wings or not. So the three pictures here down there are eagles from Mada'an Saleh. So the eagle here accompany, we know that in archaeological context, it's accompanying the soul of the deceased to the afterlife. And also the eagle is a diamond bird, and is a symbol of royal power and symbolizing power, strength, and courage. And we see the eagle also in many different cultures. So, for example, by the Seleucians and the Ptolemies, it was depicting in many archaeological artifacts and also on coins. And we see here one of the sculptures of Kharbet al-Tannur. This is the goddess Athirat, and on top of her head is a spreading winged eagle. Also, eagles on the pediment of Kharbet al-Darih, the temple of Kharbet al-Darih, we see it here, and we see also eagles from other sites, and also the one on top, here's an eagle from Petra, as part of the building stones in Petra. On the Nabatean coins, we see also the eagles. It's very, very similar to the coins of Ptolemaic and the Seleucian coins. Almost standing, it's known as standing on the thunderbolt symbol, the eagle here. Now I will go to the other animal. It's the lion. The lion occupies a significant portion of the Nabatean art, as seen on many facades in Petra. On top of the first stage of Al-Khazn, or the treasury, we see lions on the top here, and we see also one of the facades of the triclinium in Petra, and it's called the lion triclinium. So we see here two lions in the bottom of this facade. We see also in Wadi Farisa in Petra a lion served as a fountain, a water fountain there. Also, it's very unique to see capitals, columned capitals adorned with winged lions at the Temple of Winged Lions in Petra as well. So the lion also presented at Qasr al-Rabba, a Nabatean site northern of Petra. The winged lion also shown flanked the god Eros in Petra. And also the picture in the right shows two lions and the wheel of fate and fortune. It was known as it has a way or another connected with the goddess Allat in Mesopotamia. Also, the lion here flanked the goddess Ashtar or Atargatis at Khirbet al-Tanur, north of Petra. Aside from the lions, now I'll go to the third animal is the camel. The camel was used in the Nabatean dietary and also in transportation. The camel used also in warfare by the Nabateans. We see it on sculptures, we see it on terracotta figurines as well, and we see it on coins. This picture is showing the camel in the main entrance of Petra, As-Siq, and here's one camel, and I think there are more than one camel. This is one camel and another camel in behind, and this is a camellary or the rider of the camels. So it's just like a caravan coming inside Petra. Also, it is mentioned by Hayajne. A text, a Nabatean text, was found, and it's read, this is the mound and the camel's burial place that he made. And it's not completed. So I think perhaps this is referring to the ancient Arab custom of leaving a camel tied to its master grave until his death. Well, also, the leather of the camel was found at many sites, many Nabatean sites. So they used the leather, the camel leather. Also, we find the camels here on other facades, and also depicted in the terracotta figurines. These are small figurines of camels, furnished with many different things like swords and other furnishing, and also a camel with rider in the bottom. I have here some coins where we see also camels on them. The first was Nabatean coin, the other one was a Roman coin depicting the King Athirat, the third on it, and he's kneeling next to the camel for peace with Romans. Now the elephant. And you know, elephants are not, I think they don't live in southern Jordan, so either in India or in Africa. But elephant heads adorned the capitals of the columns they found in the great temple in Petra. And each capital featuring 4 elephant heads on its 4 corners. And this is really a very amazing and unique column capital in the Nabatean realm. And also similar capitals were found at Khirbet al-Tanur and Khirbet Brak. These are also 2 Nabatean sites. The elephant symbol was associated in Greek civilization with the King Alexander the Great. By the Nabateans, it is most probably symbolized victory, strength, and greatness. It is believed that elephants play a role in protection from evil as well. So let's go now to snakes. Snakes also, they associated with renewal, rebirth, and healing. So in Greek mythology, snakes were linked to some gods, representing several concepts, including protection, wisdom, healing, and the underworld. They often appear as messengers and guardians. So snakes in the Greek and Roman world were associated with gods, just like Hermes and his Caduceus, with the twisted snakes on top of it. Also with Asclepius, which is, we can see this as a sign of new medical sign up to this date. And also with Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility, and also with Eros, the god of desire and love. Snakes were frequently sculpted by the Nabateans, actually by mostly on sculptures. A sculpture of coiled snakes here on the left side here, a high square base was found in Petra, and it is believed that this snake was guarding the burial tombs in that valley. The snake was also carved on the walls inside a tomb. This tomb was also found in Petra and Wadi Musa before the entrance of the Sikh. Sculptures of Hermes, the god with his caduceus, also presented by the Nabateans and found in many occasions inside Petra, and also snakes accompanied god Eros were found also in the courtyard of Qasr al-Bint, the temple of Qasr al-Bint. The Medusa is, or the Gorgon, is a Greek, it's a Greek mythological thing, and it appeared in Petra and in Mada'an Salih as well. Here's two tombs from Mada'an Salih with the snakes flanking the ugly faces. The ugly faces in Mada'an Salih. So now let's talk about other animal, which is the horse. Horses were integrated into the Nabatean lifestyle. They were vital for trade, transportation, and warfare. Evidence were also mentioned in historical resources like in Strabo. And a number of terracotta figurines, as these terracotta figurines were numerous, and surpassed the number of other animal figurines in Petra. Some of those horses were furnished with saddles and harnesses. Few were with riders. So whether the horses with riders represent deities or warriors or only horsemen is still unclear. Horses also were depicted on the treasury facade, as the picture on the right. The horses were accompanying Zeus' sons, Castor and Pollux. who were known as protectors of travelers. Now, let's go to the fish or the dolphins. As we see on the right side, a female goddess of that was found in the temple of Khirbat al-Tannur with 2 dolphins or fish on top of her head. This might be Targates or Al-Uzza. I don't know, no name until now, but she is a female fertility goddess. Also, as we see on the left side, we see an ibex, a horned animal. And this is a terracotta figurine. Maybe it is dated a little bit later than the Nabatean period, but it was found also in Wadi Musa. On the north and the lower part of the slide, we see also a gazelle or another ibex. I don't know. So horned animals were also depicted by the Nabateans. Also here we see the bulls flanking the male god at Khirbat al-Tannur, which is Hadad or Qos or Zeus Hadad, actually. And so the picture on the right, we see it. We see the 2 flanked. The 2 bulls flanking the god. What else? We have also other animals, and among them, some of the animals were depicted as a terracotta figurine, like this monkey, and in the bottom we see also a dove, and we also see some birds painted on the Nabatean pottery. And actually, I can't talk more because I have no time. And of course, every animal has its own symbol and its a meaning why it is depicted by the Nabateans, either on sculptures or on painting or a part of temples or anything else. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lamia. Now we move to our next speaker, Dr. Omar Al-Ghul. Dr. Omar holds a PhD in Ancient Oriental Studies from Tübingen University in 1991. He has been a professor at Yarmouk University since 1991. He's the chair holder of the Mahmoud Al-Ghul Chair for Arabian Peninsula Studies and Epigraphy. Dr. Omar will be talking today about the depiction of agricultural activities in the Safaitic drawings, مشاهد النشاطات الزراعية في الرسومات الصفوية. So I would like to welcome Dr. Omar. The stage is yours.
Shukran. The stage is mine, the laptop not.
We have some help.
Shukran. Good evening, everyone. I would like also to start by thanking the organizing body for this excellent meeting. I'm very grateful that I already attended the first meeting in Rabat. I'm attending this. It's a huge opportunity to get to meet old friends and make new friendships with so I've been during my time involved in many, in organizing many conferences, so I know exactly what it takes to organize such a meeting. So thank you very much, Muhammad, for this effort. 5 months ago, I was firmly instructed by Professor Mraktan to deliver my talk in Arabic. 5 minutes ago, I was firmly instructed by Muhammad to deliver my talk in English. You will suffer. Okay, so agriculture in Safaitic inscriptions. Isn't this a bit weird? I mean, we have been telling students for years now about the nomadic Safaitic tribes. They live in the desert. They keep moving, transhumans, because they keep looking for water and herbs for their animals. So how come we are talking now about agriculture? Is agriculture possible? By the presentation of our colleague Dr. Munira today, she gave great demonstration of the basalt harras. Hundreds and hundreds of kilometers probably of black stones. This is in Ghat. This picture was taken in 1991 by Yarmouk University team. So this is the Black Desert, this is the Harra. Where do you expect to find agriculture? But yet, everything has an exception. In the desert, you find this. You find the landscape that Dr. Munira showed, but you have also something like this. Stretches of land with no basalt stones, not large, but with some vegetation, especially in good years when it rains. So apparently the perspective is desert, you can't do agriculture there, is not very accurate. Here you have another stretch of land. It is less inviting for agriculture, but probably possible. Here by some small wadi, you have remains of water, you have vegetations. In other areas, it is something in between. Of course, the soil is fertile because it was not cultivated before, or not so intensively cultivated because of the minerals in the soil. What do we need else? Water for agriculture. Well, the bad news, 50 millimeter rainfall annually. When you hear that, you realize you can barely do anything with that, 50 millimeter. Because for wheat, you need around 600 millimeter. For barley, you need at least, probably between 300 and 400. And we have here only 50. But anyone who was in the desert would realize that it is, again, not very accurate because there is water. I'm not going now to go into details where the water comes from, but there are ponds of water, small ponds of water, but they are there. This beautiful photo was taken in Ghadir al-Mallah in 1991, and as you see, you have water. And you have in the background vegetation. This is in Qasr Burqa, again, Burqa Dam. You have apparently enough water for agriculture or otherwise. This brings us here. This photo was taken in 2006 at the outer side of the desert, cultivated land. The land does not look so fertile, but apparently it is possible. 1991, again in Ghadir al-Mallah, this photo was taken. It's not only the sheep in the background, but in the foreground, this is cultivated land. Someone was practicing agriculture here 30 years ago. So it is possible. It is not easy, it is not inviting, it is risky, but it is possible. Now, all of this is modern. What about Sophitic inscriptions? As you know, Sophitic inscriptions are not very informative. They mainly consist of genealogy by someone, son of someone, son of someone, grandson of someone, and he did this and that. Yet, this guy tells about himself, about his ancestors, and then uses the verb wa, za, ra, a, wazara. Sorry, wazara. So, in Arabic, you would translate zara'a as to plant, as in trees. But Arabic also has the other meaning of sowing. As by wheat, for example. This meaning is actually the main meaning of the verb in Northwest Semitic languages, as in Hebrew, for example. Even the offspring of a man would be described as zera or so. So zara, apparently, you can translate that here as to plant in sense of trees, but I would recommend with regard to the landscape to speak of sowing. And mind you here, this is important, we know from anthropological studies, from ethnographic studies, that in Jordan and Palestine, in September and October, before the rainfall, you can sow seed even without plowing. You just throw the seed over the earth. This is another example. A long genealogy, and then you have the verb wazara. It is because examples of agriculture are so little, so few in these inscriptions that we don't expect evidence of agriculture. There are two studies about agriculture by the Sophitic tribes. One was written by Fawaz Lakhreshi in 1997. The other one, a short, compact, excellent study by Dr. Muhammad Ababne. He basically put up all known evidence about agriculture until that date. Nothing significant happened since. He told me yesterday of a new evidence, a new inscription that is not published yet. Well, we'll keep it by that. So as you see, the verb zara'a does occur, whether it means to plant or to sow, and we sow. There is water, there is land that you can cultivate. The, in a way, sensational piece of evidence is some drawings that demonstrate the cultivation of land. Here we see two animals, probably oxen, and a person, I would tip a man, a male, يعني, and you see here the structure of the equipment, almost identical with what we know today. I will go back to this point. To go into depth about the description, you can go back to Dr. Zababne's article, because he discusses basically with the very fine details about the drawings. Yes, this is another example published by Dr. Fawaz Lekhreshe. Here it is said clearly that the talk here is about 2 oxen, using the word Thor. Of course, the word Thor is known in Safaitic, but not to describe a domestic animal, but rather the wild ox. But again, the structure is the same. Of course, what I said before about the person depicted being a man, this probably depending on modern practices where women are, where women participate in almost every aspect of agriculture, but not plowing. Women are not allowed to plow. Yes, this example, very nice example, here the drawing by Dr. Ababne. This was found in Raile, 2 oxen and, or as Muhammad says, actually an ox and a cow. Is it? Ox and a cow. And this is interesting because usually you wouldn't risk invest, a cow delivers babies, delivers milk, should rest, should not go through this tiresome work. But if you don't have 2 oxen, apparently, I'll get back to this, you use an ox and a cow. Just in case you think Muhammad made up this example, no, this inscription exists in Raile. I can prove that to you. Standing next to the... So another example of... there are 7 examples, all in all, and this is relevant. I'll get back to this. This is another example where, again, the tiny details are shown. For example, that the plower holds a stick, apparently to encourage the animals to work. Muhammad questions whether the depicted animals are oxen or not, or are they identical or not in this case, because in certain cases, this is an example, it seems that even wild oryxes were used for plowing. This is all possible. The different scenarios of using different animals are all possible. I'll show modern examples. So apparently people were acting according to the availability of animals. These photos, I'm sorry for the quality, these are taken from Dallman's Arbeit und Sitte in Palästina. The quality, I used a reprint edition, so the quality is not excellent. These are in Palestine, 2 oxen in Palestine, but just to show that it is not so exceptional to use 2 different animals for plowing. This is an example of a camel and a donkey used together. And actually, with all the depiction of camels in Safaitic drawings, you would wonder why were they using oxen when they could use camels for, and this is relevant, I'll get back to this. Even in Palestine, where camels are not so popular, they were using camel. This is a photo of a guy at the coastal areas of Palestine, plowing, cultivating land with a camel. So you would have expected this in the desert, but of course it's not up to us to tell people what to do 2,000 years ago. So I come to the general question. We have over 40,000 published Safaitic inscriptions. We have three attestation of the verb zara, to sow, out of 40,000. We have 7 depictions of cultivating land, again, out of 40,000. We have, as Muhammad realizes, we don't have the word haratha, to plow, cultivate. We don't have the word harith. We don't have any word in Safaitic describing all actions involved in producing food out of wheat or barley. So everything people do after sowing and plowing in the summer. There are so many actions that they should do in order to eat bread after that. Nothing of this is mentioned in the Safaitic inscriptions. We can go 2 ways. Probably the easiest and methodically the correct one is to say evidence, absence of evidence is no evidence of absence. So it's not up to us to question the thing. Yet, those acquainted with Safaitic drawings know that people, as I said, have drawn countless drawings of camels. But among them, few of 2-humped camels. There are no 2-humped camels in the desert, in our desert, in our region. You have to go probably to Afghanistan to see them. So how come we have 2-humped camels? Is it because someone heard of them? Someone went there? Someone imagined them? So I'm just questioning. Are these plowing scenes, are these so few plowing scenes in the Safaitic inscriptions, do they reflect an actual practice in the desert? Or it is a reproduction of something that one saw in Busra, for example, in southern Syria, in northern Jordan, in some of the villages, and wanted to reproduce as an example of something exciting that one saw there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Omar. Now we go to our last speaker, Dr. Mohammed Ababna. And I'm lucky actually to be in between the professor and his student. So Professor Omar was the professor of Dr. Mohammed without mentioning the timeline of that one.
It's undeniable.
Anyway, thank you very much. Dr. Mohammed Ababna holds a PhD in Semitic Studies from the Free University in Berlin. His research interests include Semitic languages and ancient inscriptions and rock drawings. The title of his presentation is Ostriches in the Syro-Arabian steppe in the light of Safaitic inscriptions and the accompanying rock drawings. In Arabic, it is the النعام في بادية الشام في ضوء النقوش الصفائية ورسوم الصخرية المرافقة لها. Dr. Mohammed, please.
شكرا يا دكتور. First of all, I want to thank all of you for this meeting, and I would like to thank the board of the center and the team of the Athirat Journal for the invitation, as well as Professor Maraktan for the communication and the advices to me. He is not only a colleague, but also a point of reference. Thank you all. Really, I don't know in which part I will start, because my article or manuscript is from two parts. The first one is scientific and literature information, and I am sure that your knowledge and experience are richer than what I present in this part. So please allow me to make briefly present for this part, and then I will go to the main part of my presentation. Here I spoke about the ostrich in general. About the ostrich in the rock art, ostrich in the archaeological context, ostrich images in the mosaic floors, ostrich as mentioned by Western travels, mention of ostrich in the pre-Islamic Arabic poetry. And the next part, which is the main, ostrich in Safaitic inscription and the drawing. Here we have a young male Arabian ostrich at London Zoo in 1923 from Al Jouf in northern Saudi Arabia. And here about the ostrich in the rock drawings, we have here a scene from Al-Ula, and we see here the schematic style of this drawings. And here is an scenes of ostrich in rock drawing from South Jordan. Here we see the different style of the drawings. In this part, about the ostrich images in the mosaic floors, we have images from the mosaic from Jabal Nebo in Jordan, from Qasr al-Hallabat, from Bitra, from Shahba in South Syria, from Tel Khanzir, North Syrian, in the church of the Tel Khanzir, and another from the church of Hawartia, also from the south, in the north Syria. Ostrich in the Safaitic inscription and the drawing. The Safaitic inscription and the drawings are regarded as the cultural register that documented the daily life of the Arabic nomadic tribes in the Basalt Desert of North Arabian through both word and image. These registers provide comprehensive account on the region's domestic and wild animals during that period. The ostrich is mentioned in the inscription, use variety terms and depicted in drawings in various contexts, including grazing and hunting scenes, which are by far the most common. Evidence in the inscription. Ostrich are mentioned in various inscriptions through several terms derived from the root nun, ain, mim. The inscriptions are often accompanied by drawings of the ostrich, and sometimes without. Examples of this occurrence include the noun na'ama, feminine singular, na'amatun, and the occasion as na'amat, in plural as na'amat. It has also been documented on the occurrence of na'ama, mitha, and also in dual form, na'amatan. Also the term ra, alif, lam, ra'il is depicted in the inscription, and it can be interpreted as a plural form, ri'al, meaning young ostriches. An interesting example in this case, the inscription of Winnett and Harding, 3455, which is accompanied by a scene showing 17 ostrich figure. The inscription includes the term ra'il, which has not been correctly read until now, but this study has provided a correct reading and explanation. So, does the author of the inscription mean that he only drew the ostriches just because he saw them? Maybe I need a technical help. Or that he owns them and maintains them in his corral. It is notable that the Arabic term khayt or darkhit, plural khitan, refers to collation of the flock of ostriches. Therefore, it can be concluded that the term hakhayt in the case of the inscription that includes the word hakhayt and accompanied by drawing of an ostrich flock refers to the flock of ostrich and not translated as the carving. For example, for the inscription Allulo 105, which accompanied by depiction of 8 ostriches figure, and also the inscription of Allulo 72, accompanied by drawing of 5 ostriches. Ostriches are referenced in some Semitic personal names, as has been found in the corpora as Na'amat, Ra'il, Haqil, أو der Haqil, und Hifnat, أو Hafnat. Yet, ostrich as shown in the drawings. The purpose of this section is to provide a more detailed and evidence-based analysis of the images of ostriches that appear in the scenes. The drawings represent a variety of examples with different kinds of details, like the carefully showing the exact body segment parts and detailing the main features of the ostrich's body. They show the skills and ability of the people who draw them. They weren't a professional artist trained in anatomical ratios and making scientific illustration. Some drawings are not exact, but they show the general form. drawings style. A viewer of the Sophitic zoomorphic petroglyphs, particularly the ostrich figures, can classify them according to their style of drawing. The following division can be proposed despite several technical factors associated with it, such as the inscriber skills and the stone's surface. Some of drawings depict the ostrich in an abstract manner, in a side view showing different parts of the ostrich body with different characteristics, such as in this image. The style in this, the next style can be described as a simple abstract, and the figure is shown from the side view, consisting of single thin line that curves the form, the shape of an ostrich. Here is a simple abstract depicts a schematic outline of the outer frame of an ostrich from the side. In a view example, the tail is drawn as straight, like these examples. Here is a simple schematic style that represents general characteristics of the ostrich. It provides the comprehensive view of the ostrich, which with a focus on the most prominent features by showing the wings, tail, neck, and legs, and sometimes the movement of the ostrich body. An unpublished scenes of an excellent drawing of an ostrich. Even the engraver drew the ostrich feet with two toes. The last part of the accompanying inscription contains a new contents in which the deities Athirat and Lat are asked to request protection from the booming of the ostrich. It is a deep, low sound resembling a lone roar. The inscriptions is فها أثع وهلات سلام من شجن هالنعاما. Maybe it is just anoint him or he was mystics. Topics of scenes depicting ostrich. The ostrich drawing can be classified according to their themes, which are 9 recurring themes in the hunting scenes. The simplest is a drawing of an ostrich without accompanying inscription. I will mention one of them here, which is funny scenes depicting a person riding an ostrich. Such scenes are rare and suggest the possibility of the riding ostriches. This example is published in my thesis for 20 years ago. Yes, predating scenes. Ostriches are exposed nature enemies and can fall victims to wild animals when they face sudden or stressful situations. The Sophitic rock drawings depicts scenes of ostriches being caught by the predators such hyenas, leopards, and lions. Hunting scenes. Hunting non-predatory wild animal and bears is general means the obtained food, such meat. In addition, the skins, wool, hair, eggs, and feathers of this animal can be of great use to nomads. In addition to obtain the meat, in one possible purpose for hunting ostriches was to obtain feathers. The possibility of, supported by images of horsemen and armed men, possibly warriors, wearing head addresses decorated with large feathers. Ostrich feathers are known to have been used in the manufacture of crowns in ancient Egypt and Sudan, and also used by tribesmen in Somalia and the Horn of Africa, for example, but not absolutely. Yet tribing in kites. The practice of hunting ostriches by trapping in kites is a topic that merits more careful study. In one of the unique hunting scenes, which includes drawing from Wadi Rajal in Jordan Steppe, published by Beats and Helms within, it is a Sophitic inscription. However, Beats and Helms assumed that the drawing of the ostrich and inscription were added to the kite's drawing later, as the patina of the inscription is slightly lighter than that of the kites. According to Maraktan, who created a drawing of the kite's inscription, the inscription and the ostriches, he considered them all to be from the same period. There is no doubt that the old kites was continued in use. This more positive interpretation recognized that the 2 points of the view. This is for you, Muhammad. Yeats pursued scenes. The scenes depicts dogs catching a group of ostrich with or without animals. It is different kind of scenes. Yeats other hunting methods. In some scenes, the spot where the hunters delivered the fatal blow to the ostrich with the spear is shown on the back or the thigh or the thigh. This suggests that the injury was serious, with a broken bone, resulting in the ostrich's paralysis and the inability to move. It was stated that the ostrich is struck and a bone is in one of its legs is broken. It will not stand up and will remain in steady position. The act of hunting by hunters on foot. This method, hunting, which involves the use of dogs, a hunter on foot with a bow and arrow, is depicted in many scenes, like this one, or this one. Hunting on camelback. The scenes ostrich hunting is hunters appears by riding a camel, sometimes with assistance of hunting dog, as they chase an ostrich. For example, in this image, or in this image. Hunting on horseback, like the same. Or hunting on horseback and camelback. Thank you for your listening.
Shukran, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. Now we have a couple of questions, a couple of minutes for a few questions. So the floor is yours. If you have any questions, please. Mike.
It's my turn. I have a short comment to Professor Lamia about the Aesculapian snake that you mentioned. Is the term or is any image clearly to be identified with the Aesculapian snake? Because as far as I know, its occurrence south of the Caucasian region or east of Greek has never been proven for historical times. So although healing associated with the snakes may of course be possible, the snake itself, I would be skeptical that it actually was known to the Nabateans. And I have a second question to Dr. Professor Umar, if I may add that. It concerns the term zira'a, which I found really interesting. I agree with most of what you have said. I just wondered if the digging stick was known in your area in historical times, because by comparison to simple farming in the Saudi Tihama, we very often found semi-nomadic groups who do not even use the plow or the ard. They wait whether it does rain or not, and then they use the stick and plant. So the term Yazra'u could also refer not just to cutting up the soil, but it could actually also refer to planting into a hole made by the stick.
Actually, by the Nabateans, the caduceus were seen on the sculptural art in Petra. And it is associated with Hermes, the god Hermes. But Asclepius, until now, I didn't know anything in the Nabateans. It's only the snakes associated with Eros and Hermes. Yeah, not the Asclepius. Okay.
شكرا. Dr. Ababni just whispered the correct answer to your question, but he insists that I answer. Well, of course, with so short telegrammic language, we can't tell what exactly the practice of Zara'a was. Dr. Ababni just told me of what Wittgenstein saw in the 19th century there, of throwing the seeds into the land, then moving a bush over them so to bring them down. The question is, but still, it's not so much into theory, because we have these 7 depictions of the 2 animals and the plow. You can take things as is, and probably from a methodological point of view, this is correct. But you would want to ask, we wonder, there is a very basic question with drawings and even inscriptions about the function. Why would anyone want to write on a stone his genealogy and tell us, or tell whoever, what he was doing? So there is the passing time theory that one was just passing time. There are, of course, other explanations. So within this passing time theory, I can imagine someone going to Busra because David Graff especially insists that these people were not as nomadic as we want them to be. So they went into villages, and this makes sense. They went to villages, they bought there, probably they even intermarried and so on. So they knew about this practice. Could it be that they have their own mechanisms, their own techniques, but knew of this and out of interest drew them, depicted them on stones? Of course, I can't prove any of this, but I would I would not want to exclude it.
I have a comment for Professor Al Ghul about the two humps camels that I know because I saw and I published some in the Arabian Peninsula. There are some, not many, but some that can be maybe interpreted not as Bactrian camels, but hybrid, mixed between two, that had no results apparently in the genetic, because nowadays we don't have. But there are some represented in rock art in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, and in Emirates.
Thank you so much. This is very useful. But the question remains, should we consider whatever is depicted on stone as reflecting a fact? Yani, is there a margin for art for the sake of art? Yani, did someone, even the scenes that Muhammad showed us with hunting, for example, did all of this happen? Is it possible that some of this was imagined? I'm just wondering.
This is something that pertains all the rock art in general. So it's not easy to answer.
Yeah, sure. I'm not talking only about...
But for example, in the Alps, going back to the Alps, to Italy, nowadays it's in France, but in the Mount Bego rock art, that is at 3,000 meters on the sea level, we have several representations of plowing scenes. Plowing. So, but you cannot plow at 3,000 meters on the sea level. So people that have been there, they have seen the plowing, and they have represented it for some reason. Exactly like, I don't know, in Oman, in the Wadis, we have several representations in the mountains of the Halajar. We have several representations of ships, of boats. But you cannot have a boat in the mountain. But they have seen it, they have used it, so this is why they...
In the last few years, a Sophitic inscription, a drawing on a stone of a rather complex ship was published. You probably know the example. A drawing of a ship, that definitely was never, nowhere near the Black Desert. I imagine someone saw that and made a replica of it.
The talks, Dr. Lamia, it's just, it's not my field, so my questions may be really silly. I find at least what you showed us, the sculptures are way more perfect than any paintings. Shouldn't they be of the same artistic level within an era for the Nabateans? And also for Dr. Al Ghul, can we assume that it's a skill that not everybody has to write or to do drawings on the stone? Or is it fair to assume that everybody has this skill? Are they the normal people? Can normal average individual do this, or their specific class of the population? And thank you.
Well, that's true. Sculptures were more accurate than paintings in the Nabatean art. And, well, actually, it's not studied in a you know, enough. But, you know, the painted art, and especially on the pottery, they were dealing with small items, and maybe they are not as important as the sculptures by the Nabateans. And also something else, it is, if we compare the sculptures of Petra with the sculptures of Khirbat al-Tanur or Khirbat al-Darih, they are very different. And I think that there were two schools of sculptural arts by the Nabateans. One inside Petra, and it was influenced greatly by the Greek and Roman sculptural arts, and one outside Petra, which is more local than influenced by that. And I think that the local Nabatean art, the local pottery making arts, and so the art of painting on the pottery was also local. So a little bit different than the art that were influenced by the Greek and Roman, which is more realistic and accurate than the local art.
This is again a debated issue. When you think that the published Safaitic inscriptions are more than 40,000, and there are probably hundreds of thousands still out there to be published. This situation would drive you to believe that almost everybody could read and write. Yeah, I'm not talking about drawing now. And because this would enforce questions about the teaching system. I mean, 100 years ago, probably 1 out of 100 people could read and write in the Badia, in the desert. So how come 2,000 years ago everybody could read and write? This drove one to the assumption that people commissioned professional writers to write for them. We don't have proof of this. But with drawing, it's easier because drawing is a skill. You can't teach everybody to read and write, almost everybody, but you can't teach people to draw. Teachers have been doing their best for the last 65 years with me. They had no luck. I can't draw anything. It might be that only skilled people could do the drawing, or someone would ask someone to make a drawing for, but the inscriptions themselves, as far as I know, say nothing about that. Al-Muhammadan. Professor Mraqtan has
thanks for the speakers for these excellent presentations. I have a question, and it's just you know, thinking about possibilities. This is to Dr. Omar and Ababna. Can we imagine that these people were using plowing and agriculture, that they belong to some kind of movement of people from the area around? Is the evidence of these drawings, is it specific? Or it is from a specific place? Is this place, I mean, you showed us some of the drawings. Can we relate them to a specific place? And again, the possibility of the movement of some people from maybe not really in the Harra, but somewhere else, that they moved, and we know that such movements of semi-nomads and so on, it is well known. The other thing is there an evidence of the inscriptions related to the drawings? Do they mention seasons? Maybe Muhammad knows about that. So season for, you know, plowing and agriculture and so on. Thank you very much.
You should ask Muhammad Santa Claus for that, because it's because you are basically making wishes rather than asking questions. Well, with you, of course, your remark is excellent, but in order to answer such a question, we need a typology. I don't agree with Muhammad in his excellent article, really excellent article, makes a short statement saying that this ancient system of plowing is very similar to the modern one. I have two remarks to this regard. When you read Dalman, because you were talking about people coming from here, coming from there, Dalman talks about a North Palestinian plow, South Palestinian plow, Moabite plow, coastal plow. So if you are talking about this, and of course شو اسمها بلبنان هاي مش المية ومية عين الحلوة. Even in southern Lebanon, you few kilometers to the north, you have the northern Palestinian system, and then you have the south Lebanese. So if in the same time period, in such limited geographical boundaries, you have so different typologies of plowing systems or equipment. So to judge what we have in the depictions is problematic, because we don't know was this typical for the period, and of course you know both, of course. Another problem that we can't date Sophiatic inscriptions. So are these 7 examples from the same period? Are the elements there really common? And Muhammad, what I really would like to do, but when publishing the paper, is trying to look into the contemporary Roman period evidence. Before moving the 2,000 years to the 19th century to Dalman time, to see, can we compare what we have in the depictions with something that we know from the Roman period? Probably then we can come closer to answering your question. It's very justified to make the question, but as in many archaeological studies and in Sophiatic epigraphy, it's a question of evidence. I forgot what was the second question. Muhammad, it's getting late. Muhammad. محمد نسي وأنا نسيت. إيش السؤال الثاني؟ إيه؟
Remember what he means. Seasons. He spoke. He asked about the seasons. After reading many inscriptions, we haven't an agriculture calendar in the Sophitic inscription, but the seasons depending on the mobility of the nomads only. I think it was a simple agriculture activity for butchering, like to seed the barley, not it was another's. Because after the experience of my ancestor in the North Jordan, he for 70 years make the same around the Brega and Al-Mafrag, only Sha'ir. They happen to plants, not others.
Anyway, just to give I remain optimistic, but just to give an idea, as Muhammad suggested the topic to me, he said, look into your inscriptions that you are processing now to see if you have new evidence. We are preparing about 1,000 inscriptions for publication now, from Ghadir al-Mallah and from Wadi Mghat. Not a single hint to agriculture, neither in the language, the text itself, or in depictions, just to give an idea how thin the evidence is.
Maybe we have time for one question if there is any question. Otherwise, I would like to thank you all. I would thank our speakers and the attendance also. So thank you very much.
Dear professors, ladies and gentlemen, so for tonight's dinner, we expect everyone to